This is 7 News, the voice of the coast.
Tonight, a casino teenager hailed a hero after preventing an almost certain tragedy.
Overworked and underpaid, paramedics to walk off the job if a pay dispute isn't resolved.
I'm Daniel Gibson. Later on this news hour, Brittany Higgins breaks down on the stand the explosive claims in the Lerriman defamation case and the Aussie hero that's behind India's miraculous mine rescue.
7 News begins now.
Good evening. We start tonight with breaking news from Taree as thunderstorms roll through parts of the North Coast.
Wild weather has caused significant damage to the centre of town. Hannah Hardup joins us live now from the scene. And Hannah, what more can you tell us?
Nick, just after 5 p.m, a hailstorm hit Taree, leaving the shopping centre flooded with water. Chunks of ice caused drainage blockages in the shopping centre, which led to water flooding through the premises. While some businesses only had small amounts of water seep through, Coles and Eddie's Chicken Shop, among other stores, were flooded with a substantial amount of water, forcing the centre to be evacuated. Centre management has been contacted for comment, in which they declined.
OK, thanks for the update, Hannah. That's Hannah Hardup reporting live from Taree.
A storm warning remains in place for the rest of the coast, with locals told to brace for more wild weather with strong winds, heavy rainfall and possible further hail predicted too. Elise Holden joins us live now from Ballina. And Elise, what have locals been told to do to prepare?
Maddie, people are being urged to secure loose items, move their vehicles under cover and stay indoors. Already the region has seen more than 79 millimetres of rain in the last 24 hours. Just after 4 o'clock this afternoon, Wauchope was lashed by large hailstones for 15 minutes. A severe weather warning remains in place across the region. Flash flooding is expected, with state emergency services warning locals to be vigilant and avoid driving into the floodwaters.
The best thing we can do is for the community to make safe, sensible decisions and not to travel on flooded roads. And if they can avoid travel at all in this heavy storm-ridden weather systems, that would be the best outcome.
More wet weather is expected tomorrow before easing on Friday. Maddie.
Thanks for the update, Elise. That's Elise Holden reporting live for us there tonight in Ballina. And Kirsty joins us now with a look at the rest of today's weather. And Kirsty, as we just heard, some really wild conditions around and more on the way too.
Yes, that's right, Maddie and Nick. Good evening to you both and hello, everyone. We woke to dry skies this morning on the North Coast following moderate to high rainfall totals in the northern rivers overnight. Byron Bay picked up 23 millimetres to 9 o'clock this morning. It's been very windy today too, particularly in the south. Northeasterly winds up to more than 45 kilometres an hour between Port Macquarie and Coffs Harbour. Showers and widespread thunderstorms migrated east towards the coast early this afternoon, driving that severe storm warning for the mid-north coast and the northern rivers. As we heard, we've seen heavy hail showers in Taree, as well as further north. A dangerous storm is approaching Grafton as we go to air tonight, with destructive winds and possibly giant hail also a risk. We've already seen more than 30 millimetres fall across parts of the Macleay region into this afternoon. A very humid day as well, as we can see mild overnight lows, that cloud trapping in plenty of warm weather, our maximums reaching the mid to high 20s. Showers should ease later tonight though, clearing for our final day of spring tomorrow. I'll have all those details very soon.
Thanks, Kirsty. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. A casino teenager is being hailed as a hero tonight after she stopped a school bus from ploughing into a minibart. Isabel Miller leapt into action when she saw the vehicle rolling across the road without a driver.
Rolling into oncoming traffic, narrowly missing motorists and a mini-mart.
A bit stressed, thinking that if I didn't know how to do anything, like people would have got hurt and probably some people might have got killed, and yeah.
This is the moment a school bus in Casino took off without a driver and 20 students in the back last Wednesday afternoon. A teacher and bus driver can be seen clinging to the side to try to stop it in its tracks.
It wasn't my bus, and I was talking to the bus driver and some of my friends on there, and the bus driver got out of the bus and was talking to another teacher, And I turned around and go talk to my friends, and 2 seconds later I turned and I heard the bus go.
14-year-old Isabel Miller leapt into action, managing to steer the vehicle to safety.
And there was no bus driver driving the bus, and it was heading straight towards the petrol stuff. So I'm like, if I don't do anything about it, the shop and the bus would have exploded.
Shock for us when we looked at the CCTV footage at the shop, and yeah, come so close and missing the shop. It was unbelievable.
Now she's being awarded for her bravery. Today, Isabel was recognised for her respect, inclusion and safety and effort by Casino High School.
While the events themselves were really, really surprising, the fact that Izzy responded like that isn't really surprising at all.
She also received $100 from North Casino Minimart.
It was unbelievable for a 14-year-old to get in and pull the bus away the way she did. It was unbelievable.
Isabel says the result could have been much more devastating if she hadn't learned to drive on her family's farm.
Well, I did drive my uncle's car the other week around the paddock. That's the only lessons I've had.
Elise Holden, 7 News.
Despite months of negotiations, a pay increase for paramedics has still not been offered. With professional registrations due to expire in less than 30 hours, some paramedics are saying they won't renew.
New South Wales paramedics desperate for equal recognition.
Some of our paramedics are working 2 jobs or 3 jobs just to put food on the table, to pay their rent, to pay their mortgage. It's a battle.
Paramedics across the state have been in pay negotiations for the last 3 years to be on par with other states. 1,800 paramedics have threatened to not renew their professional registrations, which are due tomorrow.
Come the 1st of January, we won't be recognised as paramedics. No one really knows how this is going to evolve.
A 1-month grace period is in place for any registrations that have lapsed, meaning a deal needs to be struck by then to avoid a looming health crisis. New South Wales Health said in a statement that paramedics can renew their registrations by November 30 to avoid paying a late fee and can continue to practice until December 31st.
If we do lose that, it's going to impact on the community, the elderly, the young, bringing them into the hospital, and if the officers are not there, well, it's going to be a disaster for the hospital. It'll be a disaster.
A spokesperson for the New South Wales government said they acknowledge the important role paramedics play in the health system and that they are continuing to engage with paramedics and representatives in good faith.
We do everything from delivering babies to roadside trauma to holding someone's hand when they die.
Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
A 53-year-old woman has been charged over her alleged role in a man's murder at Kendall. The woman was refused bail when she appeared in Port Macquarie local court yesterday, but granted conditional bail to reappear on December 13. 4 people have now been charged in relation to the incident, which happened on Barter Creek Road on November 22nd. A 27-year-old woman and 2 men aged 37 and 39 have previously been charged and remain before the court. Investigations into the incident are continuing.
A big win for Aussie fishers, with every state government voting unanimously for country of origin labelling. The vote now making it mandatory for cafes and restaurants to advertise whether the seafood on the menu is imported.
It's official. After a 15-year battle, consumers now have the right to know where their seafood is coming from.
And specifically, it's looking at just identifying across the seafood chain whether it's Australian, internationally sourced or a mixture of both.
Fishmongers and supermarkets already have to inform shoppers where they source their seafood, but up until now, hotels, clubs, restaurants and cafes were exempt.
More than 50% of consumers out there actually had no idea where their seafood was coming from.
Many seafood lovers have been surprised to hear today that 86% of seafood consumed here in New South Wales is in fact imported from overseas.
That number did shock me. I expected it to be higher, but I was thinking more in the 60s, you know, maybe more equal.
We like to eat local. We like to support our local industries.
Research shows the desire for homegrown fresh seafood is shared by 90% of Australians.
Well, I don't like farmed fish for a start because there's too many additives and chemicals and things in it. I'd rather just have something wild caught out of the ocean that's local.
We send the best away and we import something perhaps not as good.
Strict industry standards here usually far exceeding those overseas.
We want to ensure that the seafood harvested in Australia is done extremely sustainably and extremely ethically as well.
The changes will come into effect in 2025. This Penny, 7 News.
The Rural Fire Service is calling for more volunteers to join their ranks as temperatures rise across the North Coast. Recent fires across the region is a cause for concern, with a lack of available crews to help on the ground when a blaze breaks out.
They're the first point of call when a bushfire breaks out. The Rural Fire Service has been operating in New South Wales for more than a century. Now it needs the community's help to keep the region safe.
We've had constant floods, fires, COVID, so volunteer workforce is getting thinner, and their availability is what we're really short on at this time of year.
Barry Morgan has been volunteering with the RFS for nearly 50 years. He says it's been a challenging and rewarding experience.
The comradeship with the RFS is really good. Everyone watches each other's back because when you're fighting a fire, it's like fighting a war. It can kill you.
Now 71, Barry isn't stopping anytime soon.
You know, like it's still like go out on brigade calls and still do a bit of physical stuff if I have to. But, you know, I do it. It's a lot harder than what it used to be. But
RFS District Manager Inspector Daniel Ainsworth says with hotter temperatures and storms on the way, it's more important than ever to have extra crews across the region.
It can be helping out with the radios on communications, helping out with catering in the kitchen and preparing meals for the firefighters who are out in the field. It can even be helping out with in the field as a firefighter, of course, as well.
Like every brigade's struggling for members, and we just hope that we can get some more members in every brigade.
Elise Holden, 7 News.
Still to come in 7 News, high school students receive a valuable lesson outside the classroom.
And a local radio station prepares to celebrate 50 years on air.
And a little later on this news hour, an apology to the victims of thalidomide, more than half a century after the drug devastated families. Brittany Higgins takes the stand, giving evidence at Bruce Lerriman's defamation trial. And the Aussie who played a critical role in the rescue of 41 miners.
Welcome back. Youth radio station 104.1 is celebrating half a century of broadcasting to the Coast. For 50 years, CHY-FM has been training up young people aged 13 to 25 in all aspects of on-air announcing, providing experience in voice work, interviewing techniques, music programming and editing, many using it as a stepping stone into the media industry, equipped with experience in the latest on-air technology.
We've gone from very rudimentary sort of equipment of a couple of turntables and some tape players and things like that to we've now got the same digital equipment that they've got at Triple M and Nova.
The next 5-day training workshop will be held over the school holidays in January.
High school students have received a lesson outside the classroom. The Rider program teaching soon-to-be drivers crucial lessons in road safety.
Braving the elements and learning a lesson in driving to the conditions.
Now, do we think that's realistic for stopping distance in the wet?
Around 200 high school students today took part in the Rider program at the PCYC. It's run by Road Safety Education with the help of Rotary and teaches young soon-to-be drivers how to be safe on our roads.
Actively giving students the tools and the strategies and the knowledge to make better decisions on the road as drivers and as highly influential passengers.
It's about all the peripheral things, your mental attitude, the influence of your friends, all those types of things that that can impact on your driving.
Demonstrations both inside and outside the classroom formed 6 workshops throughout the day.
What do people on their provisional licence bring to the table that can make them safer than anybody else on the road?
Teaching crucial lessons about so much more than just getting behind the wheel.
We look at the relationship between music and driving decision making. We look at the relationship between speed and stopping distance.
And long before the students are in the driver's seat themselves.
This was a really controlled demonstration for you.
It's really important that those attitudes and those behaviours get sort of set from now, because young people especially are far more at risk.
Around 40,000 students across Australia and New Zealand take part in the rider program every year, and it's been running for 2 decades.
You reckon we're good?
Our intention is probably to expand it in future years.
Road safety is a community challenge, and the solution to it is a community solution.
Claire Sienta, 7 News.
Up next in 7 News, a primary school softball team to vie for the title of the state's best.
And 2 Taree boxers prepare to battle against the best in the region.
Welcome back. 2 Taree boxers will take on some of the state's best at the regional boxing championships. The boys have been training hard, challenging each other, while also developing their skills in the hope both will take out the win.
Getting ready to pack a punch. 2 Taree boys will compete against the region's best early next month.
The boys are going all the way over to Nyngan to have a fight. There's people from all over interstate. James's opponent is from Dubbo and Riley's opponent is from Muswellbrook.
James Davidson, aged 19, and Riley Brady, aged 14, will step into the ring. Both confident they are prepared for their big fights.
Feeling good, feeling ready, keen to get out there and fight.
I'm hoping it's a good win, it's a good fight, and I'm hoping to learn a lot from it.
Training together, the boys are building their skills and thankful to have each other's support.
Yeah, I definitely get a lot of inspiration from James. He's a really good boxer, he's better than me. He helps me a bunch while we're sparring.
Putting on the gloves, the duo have been training hard 6 days a week.
We've just been trying to get in good condition by training really hard, good exercise, but still I need to keep it tidy, doing good theory and stuff.
Whilst the competition is this week's focus, looking forward, the boys will begin preparing for the national titles next year.
Our focus will be on Golden Gloves and then Nationals next year. We'll be getting those boys ready for that.
Hannah Hartup, 7 News.
2 teams from One Coffs Harbour School are through to the semi-finals of the PWSA Softball State Cup.
That's the sweet sound of success. A cracking shot to the outfield ending in a home run. The girls equally impressive in defence.
They're throwing and catching, and they're a big talking team. They're constantly, pumping each other up and just really enthusiastic.
Narangba Public School in training ahead of next week's State Cup semi-finals against Western Region, hoping to capitalise on a strong track record after taking out the New South Wales PWSA final in 2019.
None of them play softball outside of school, so early term 1 we start training and they just are really dedicated to the sport and just practice a lot.
The girls squad staging a solid run through the regional rounds, winning 3 from 3 to go through to the top 8.
We've whooped some of them and then some of them were pretty close.
The boys looking equally promising with another straight run through to the finals.
So we've got some nice big hitters in our team, which is wonderful. So we've scored plenty of runs this year and we've also got a great pitcher-catcher combination.
Their coach hoping to set the record straight after winning the State Cup trophy twice and finishing 3rd last year.
It's going to be tough, but we're going to give it a crack.
Both squads will head down to the Sydney Olympic Stadium in Blacktown next Thursday. Liz Penny, 7 News.
Up next in 7 News, Kirsty's got more on those storms rolling through the coast. That's next.
Good evening, everyone. Well, wet weather has lashed much of the state and our north coast today with some significant rain and storms as well through the southeast. We did see those severe storms contracting through our northeast regions today, but conditions should ease throughout tomorrow as these systems move offshore. We will see some scattered rainfall for the end of this week, as well as the chance of some thunderstorm outbreaks, but clearer skies are on the forecast through early next week and our first full week of summer. Most of our region's heavy rainfall has already already fallen, but we are still at risk of storms on the forecast, which could drop that localised heavy rainfall. Those showers still possible through until early next week. Tonight, there is a high risk of severe thunderstorms developing, though. A warning is in place for the entire mid-coast and for the northern rivers for locally destructive winds, possibly giant hail and heavy rain. We've already had hailstorms through Wauchope and Taree. That dangerous weather is currently over Grafton as we go to air. If we take a look at our Thursday weather now, certainly a big change from today's severe storms with sunshine around tomorrow. Gusty winds, though, up to 30 kilometres an hour. Some very warm temperatures returning, 33 degrees on the way for Kempsey. A moderate fire danger rating also returning to both the mid-north and far north coasts. A warm day for Grafton, 35. That chance of a slight storm for some. On the waters, north-northwesterly winds tomorrow at Byron Bay at around 20 knots. As we track further south around Port Macquarie, we're expecting our swell between around 4 and 5 feet. Well, we will kick off December and, of course, the start of summer on Friday with clear and sunny conditions in the morning. The high 20s about Foster and the same for Port Macquarie. Those winds easing off, remaining warm, though, during the day, and that fire danger rating again remaining moderate to end the working week in the far north coast. During the afternoon and into the evening, though, there is that chance of some showers. Lismore could see around 1 millimetre. Saturday's weather will be quite similar with a high chance of showers, 1 to 3 millimetres at this stage, with storms rumbling across the region too. Those temperatures back to the high 20s around Byron Bay and for Yamba. Plenty of wet weather to keep our eye on tonight with those severe storm warnings. Good to see those clearer skies on the forecast tomorrow.
It is good to see some clearer skies, Kirsty. Thank you.
And that's all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching. You can catch up on our website or, of course, 7plus.
Right now, Dan's got your national news. Enjoy your night. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock.